What do I want to be when I grow up?
Still not totally sure.
I would like to be a barrister when I'm older. I want to argue for money.
I quite like the idea of the police. That sounds quite good. I enjoyed Hot Fuzz.
I want to become a psychiatrist in the future.
What I would do? My gosh.
I think I want to get into teaching.
I don't know, because I don't think I'll ever grow up.
I want to be a film director.
I want to be a firefighter.
At my stage in life, I'm very happy with what I've got.
Whatever position I hold, I just hope to make a positive and impact towards other people.
I want to be a criminal psychologist.
I don't need to know what I want to do. What I need to do is just do something and see what happens.
I always wanted to be a Member of Parliament, and I stood 5 times as a Liberal candidate and failed each time. And then I go to Parliament, but in the other chamber, to the House of Lords. So in that sense, I have actually achieved that objective.
Still figuring it out. I have no idea. Just happy.
We have a millstone of people who are not fulfilling themselves and not performing, and therefore not helping the economy of the region to thrive in the way that it could. But the saddest thing about that, and the worst thing about that, is that they're not getting anything like as much out of their lives as they could do.
There's tens of thousands of young people in this country who aren't happy, they aren't meeting their potential, and they aren't contributing to society. The world is changing, it's complex, and so are young people's lives. And the people around them, their friends and their family and their communities, are misunderstanding them. And this is causing, real complications for these young people.
We're responsible for the communities that a 15-year-old's growing up in. 15-year-old's not responsible for the community they grow up in. They're 15. 10 years ago, they'd only just come out of nappies.
What our parents recognised as careers and how the world of work works has changed so much that actually maybe their understandings of what work is aren't actually very helpful right now.
I had this conversation with my dad in the car once, and he said, all I'm saying is that what you do is expendable. It's not necessary to surviving. What I used to do, what we do, we used to build things. You've got doctors who heal people, you've got builders who make houses, farmers who work in the field, whereas you don't do that. You're an artist, you make stuff that's expendable, essentially. And it is that attitude of it's all about survival. And these days I don't think it is so much. I think humans have got a good grasp on surviving nowadays. We've got that down, haven't we? We don't struggle to survive anymore. It's about living, about having it good and making sure that you enjoy every year that you've got going.
They have a really restricting story put onto them. So it may be, no one from around here ever achieves anything. You're no good, you're a failure.
We can't change the opinion on us, so sometimes we're like, well, why bother trying to change something that you can't?
They don't take us as serious as we'd like to be taken when, we do have ideas and stuff.
We often talk about youth and community as if they're two different things. Youth are community.
Governments have a responsibility to set the framework. And so they define what the policy should be in terms of support for young people, and they can provide all kinds of mechanism for young people to get experience, young people to be supported financially in work through their employers, young people to get the training that is necessary, the apprenticeships, and so on. And that's what governments can do. But governments can't do everything. They're limited in terms of the number of people they have, and they're also limited by the amount of money they can put into things, because governments in the end are only the sum of their taxpayers. And it's everybody's responsibility to help young people.
There's lots of opportunities and there's lots of young people, but there's a disconnect between the two. You can't force young people down one particular route. They've got to find the right opportunity for them at the right time, and they've got to have the confidence to make the most of it.
What I wanted to be doing was out paddling, learning, working. really developmental things. What I did not want to be doing was being at school in the environment I was in.
That you filled in, you answered 100 questions, and it would tell you what you were suited to be, what your career path should be. And it gave you a list of options, and for me it said I should be a vicar.
The system itself isn't working, and the money is really tight, so we need to find ways to invest in solutions that really work and that tap into the real causes of these problems. And young people aren't the problem, they are the solution. Young people have got the power to be great, and we just have to trust them.
I think a lot of people just think they can't. And I think if you try enough, you'll be able to do a majority of things.
When we started the Ambition Lab project, we wanted to examine the ingredients necessary for young people to find their passion so they could take advantage of the opportunities available to them. And this led us to self-determination theory.
Self-determination theory proposes that we have these basic psychological needs that we will search out and we will look for. As humans, we want to grow and develop.
We also wanted to examine young people who've been through a process of finding their own motivation and work out what the key ingredients were very specifically to their lives and how this fitted to our theory.
That's a cup, that's a toaster. That is a wine rack, well, it was a wine rack, and it broke like last week. It makes us feel alive, like, free, completely free, like, F the system, like, I'm just doing this for me.
When I find something I like, it seems very easy to me just to get on with it. So whenever I've had something like that, whether it be sailing or kayaking or anything really, I've just been able to find the drive to do it.
When I first started doing henna, I just did it for me and my sisters, and then I got into doing it for other people and friends and family, and from friends and family, and then starting and going to school, I went a bit bigger and started to do a lot more people, and a lot more people liked it and noticed me.
There was an incident at my school when a friend of ours got stabbed, so that just made me realise that there's something I needed to do to inspire and encourage people within the community. Our first event was in 2008 during Peace Week, and it was really just about getting young people united and celebrating positivity and exposing them to constructive activities.
Being a new kid, you sort of got in with the wrong crowds a little bit too early. I was brought back by a police officer, which my dad was not very happy about at all. And I think it was literally a day or two after that, we were playing basketball, just me and my old mate, and he had joined a film club.
I'd said, right, I'm going to be showing you how to make animation next week, and so his friend knew that was coming and knew Gary loved cartoons. I think that was the impression that I got. He would just bring stuff back every now and then, and it would kind of build up a little bit and build up a little bit. You just thought, this kid knows what he's doing, and he's doing it.
We decided that we were going to kayak around Great Britain in sea kayaks. We're the first ever people to go around Britain anti-clockwise. It was deemed to be against the prevailing wind, which made it a little bit harder, so people said. It did feel hard, so maybe it's true.
I probably get the most satisfaction out of it when they really like it and they're always like, wow, it looks so amazing. If I couldn't do henna, it'd be so hard. I wouldn't really know what to do, because henna is part of my life now.
The phrase YOLO, you only live once, we try and flip that into yo-yo, you're only young once. You're only young once. And that motto is, you know what, you've got to make the most out of the opportunities that are available to you now, so you could equip for a prosperous future.
I think it was about 2 months after I'd been at uni, I got a call from the school, and they said that Tim was holding a creative lab here with a music video director called Corin Hardy. Corin had a look at my work, said he thought it was cool. I think it was a month afterwards, I got a phone call from Corin, and he said, I'm making the new music video, it's for The Prodigy. Do you want to be the animator?
There are two types of motivation in self-determination theory: intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation.
Over time, those that have intrinsic motivated goals, they persevere, they keep going, they get through the difficult times because they have this passion and autonomous drive to continue.
I'm lucky that I found that, because if you don't have a passion, you don't have a purpose, you know, when you're faced with obstacles, it's going to be easy for you to fall back.
Those that have more extrinsic or have been motivated by anxiety, fear, external motivators, rewards, comparisons to others, competition, they tend to find that they don't develop as far in the area or activity that they're working in.
It can be quite upsetting meeting somebody who's 55 and they suddenly come to realise that actually they've spent their whole lives trying to please a group of other people, quite often a group of other people that they can't even name.
For the first part of the research, we wanted to measure the intrinsic motivation and the extrinsic motivation of young people.
That's extremely important. 9.
I'd put that a 9.
I'd say that's very important, but I'd say the chance is low.
Asking us if I'm going to have a good job and stuff. Yeah.
Our research findings were very interesting. Contrary to maybe popular opinion, we found that all of the young people had a great deal of intrinsic motivation. They wanted to act from their own volition. They really wanted to achieve things. So it would seem that the issue is not around motivating young people. The issue is around the environment we put young people in so they can tap into their own motivation.
Self-determination theory posits that we need 3 different psychological needs to be met, and these are autonomy, relatedness, and competence.
We walked up to the school, sat down in front of my teacher, and she said, right, so we got here maths, we got here biology, sports science, and what have you. Is that what you want to take? And I was thinking, no. And I said, actually, no. Actually, I think I'm going to take graphics. And I was interested in film studies as well. And my dad said, well, that's not what we talked about at home though, was it? We talked about how you were going to do maths because that was going to get you that was going to take you far and you'll get a career that pays. So I think, yeah, now that I'm here though, yeah, I'm thinking film, I'm thinking art, and I'm thinking graphics.
When individuals feel as if they're in control of their life and their future, this enhances their well-being considerably.
The best way to engage with young people is just to talk to them. Plain and simple, just to talk to them, ask them what they want to do, not what other people want to do, what they feel they should be doing to, you know, what mum and dad thinks is best for them.
I think some of the most exciting work we do is to support young people to design their own project. And I think the benefits of that is immediately young people have signed up to that, so they've actually chosen what they want to do.
You've got to build that trust and say, this isn't about what I want to do, guys, this is about what you want to do. And I think that's how we get them to start feeling a bit more comfortable, confident, and trust in you to then think, actually, that person has my best interests at heart.
We give them more and more and more responsibility so that eventually they're just taking the lead of the programme.
Because once they make this choice, okay, I want to try this, and if it doesn't work out, they'll come back and they know that there's something else they can try. But if you impose it on them and say, you should do this, you know, 5-10 years down the line, they might look back and say, okay, my life has ended up like this and I'm not happy because this person told me I should be doing this.
Having other people, being with other people and feeling connected to other people really can enhance our well-being.
What kept me coming back was everyone's compliments about it, saying that I should start a business with it and just build on from it and see where I can go.
We all need to feel valued by other people and we need to value other people. The relationship between a young person and it could be a mentor, teacher, it could be their peers, seems to be extremely important.
From the beginning, that was what did it. For me, I think, back when I was at high school, in year 10, working on that first bit of animation, it was Tim's reaction that made me want to continue doing it, because up until then, I'd never done anything that anybody actually turned around and said, that's amazing.
I think what's really important for young people to actually meet or turn their dreams and thoughts into aspirations and actually get on the path and start achieving and doing things is that other people not only believe that it's maybe possible, but also talk about it as if it's going to happen.
For the overwhelming majority of people, it will be the social context that will determine what they're doing and where they're doing it, and whether they're going to have the aspirations or whether they're not going to have the aspirations.
I think I stuck with it because I was in a real good group of people and we got into like a competitive thing and we did we just seemed to advance very quickly, and I just really loved it, so I stuck with it.
When someone comes to you and says, you know what, I didn't go down this way, I went down this way. It was difficult, it was the right way, it was the positive way, but it's worth it. The hard work is worth it. So then it sets a vision for the future, and it makes you believe, okay, I can do it, it's possible.
Everybody has it in them to succeed at something. Everybody does. And it's a question of how you unlock that. And for many, it's a mentor, someone who can stay with them.
Yeah, having that mentor figure there who's feeding back and telling you that you're doing all right, you're doing a good job. I didn't realize until recently is actually probably one of the most important things, for me anyway, behind what keeps me going.
To actually get around Britain in a sea kayak is a huge achievement. Lots of people have tried and not been able to do it, but I was more pleased by the way that they did it, the fact that they engaged their local community in support. And so when the hundreds of people were on the beach in New Biggin to see them arrive back, it was a culmination both for the lads in Land on Our Left, but for all of those other people that had done so much to support them.
To really connect with some of the young people, you've got to be authentic. So when I'm doing it, I realise that I'm telling them, you can, but at the end of the day, because I'm local, I might see them just walking down the street or do this or do that. Don't even know.
It doesn't have to be classical culture or Greek or whatever it may be. It can be pop music, it can be football, it can be the most popular culture things around. But if they pursue it and they pursue it vigorously, then that can turn them into spheres that they will find of interest and enjoyment, and probably a job down the track as well.
I kept learning and learning more and more, and I just got better and better at it. I started getting loads more ideas and making those ideas, like trying to make them happen.
The young people we looked at, every one of them, when they'd moved forward with their life and discovered something they were passionate about and something importantly that they got very good at, this made a massive difference to them.
Because I've got years behind me, I find that slowly the crowd that surrounds me have changed, and they're now working for me and with me, and they're very much interested in what I think, which just happened by itself really over the time. But I think that's been the biggest difference, going from being scared to show people what I'm doing and what I'm thinking to almost being excited about it and inspiring them.
Competence is about creating environments that enable individuals to feel like they have mastery over what they're doing. And put together, if we can create environments that help individuals express and feel autonomy, relatedness, and competence, this can significantly enhance our well-being and also intrinsic motivation.
The last part of the research, we looked at people who've had successful careers in a very self-actualized way. They've spent their life doing what was important to them, and they've been successful at it.
I've never gone off on a straight course. I've zigzagged all over the place. I'm just about to start my 5th career in the House of Lords, and I've done lots of things before that.
I just can't accept, I refuse to accept that the lifestyle or the situation or present circumstances are going to be like that for the rest of my life. I just refuse. If that was the state I was in, I don't know what I would do.
A growth mindset seems to be very, very important. It's the journey which is important.
This is a very powerful mindset to adopt, because this really tells you where I am now isn't where I'm going to be, 10 years from now.
I don't need to know what I want to do. What I need to do is just do something and see what happens. So I'm doing something now, I'm becoming a nurse and I'm enjoying it. But if at any point I'm not, I'll just do something else.
I think the idea of clear career paths is a myth. I describe mine as a career meander.
I've been led more by the environment in which I've been operating than and the people that I've been working with and being friendly with than any great aspiration that I've had. And I've usually been quite surprised by ending up where I've ended up.
To pursue a single goal with that kind of drive, yeah, okay, it works in a really narrow range of things where you've got one thing that you absolutely going to pursue to the exclusion of all others, but actually it's a really bad way to respond to the complexity of life. And for every one of those things that you choose to focus on, you're shutting down 50 other things that might be interesting to you.
But now that I'm here and I'm doing this, I just want more. So I think there's like a relentless frustration that's never gonna quite go away until I find something else that'll keep me occupied. I don't know what that'll be, but yeah, frustrated artist is what I'm trying to say.
So we're at a point with the research that we have pretty good evidence to support certain psychological needs and elements are important for flourishing and thriving. And if we can create interventions for young individuals that tick these boxes, then really, and give them a space where they can engage with them and facilitate these psychological needs, then this can only be a good thing.
There is no magic wand. There are no magic levers that you can pull to reduce youth unemployment by 10%. What you can do is work with young people to build relationships with them, to help them be the best that they can be, to help them achieve whatever it is possible for them to achieve, and then see what happens.
The real work, I've always known, and anybody really does know it, takes a long time to create change and get people to be more confident and more able.
I've never been let down. I've been working with young people for over 30 years now. I think if you let people know that you trust in them, they usually rise their game.
The idea that we need to raise the aspirations of young people is not necessarily so. What we need to do is give them the opportunity to take advantage of their own aspirations.
You know what's on the other side. You're willing to, break down the walls or open the door, or kick down the door if it's not opening, because at the other side of that door is what I really care about, is what I want to get to.
It didn't take a huge smack in the face with an animation glove to make me get into it. I just caught a glimpse of it and it hooked me. And I think that's what passion really is when it feels effortless.
I was just sat with the family, this is Christmas Day and Tyne Tees and Harry Potter, and Gary's advert comes on in the middle of this film on Christmas Day, and you just think actually someone in a school can get anywhere really, can get as far as they want to get.
What are you interested in? What are you passionate about? What do you love doing? I mean, is it painting? Is it making music? Is it walking? Is it digging? Is it going out to sea? Whatever it is, make that into a business, because if that's what you're interested in, that's what you'll make a success of. And what's more, you'll actually enjoy it.
What is success?
Doing what you enjoy to the best of your abilities.
My definition of success.
Success is happiness.
Happiness, happy people.
Success is kind of getting where you want to be in life.
So you just need to be really happy with what you're doing.
Doing what you love and doing what counts.
Fulfilling relationships.
Believing in yourself.
My idea of success is being surrounded by people who genuinely love you for what you are.
If you can be happy doing something yourself and in the process make a lot of other people happy, then you've been a very successful person.
As long as the people that surround you are healthy and happy, that's success.
I think success is absolutely subjective, and if you feel what you've done makes you happy, and that might be because you make enough money off it, it might be because it makes other people happy, that's a successful project.
Success is achieving what you feel is personally fulfilling for you.
Possibly the question can be answered by saying, so am I happy? Have I had a happy life? And so I think maybe you equate success with happiness as well.
Getting through life, making sure that I'm never struggling with money and I'm always going to be alright. That would be success for me.